Hi, I'm homosexual Brian Safi.
And I'm feminasty Erin Gibson.
And this is Attitudes.
Gender issues.
LGBT plus issues.
Pop culture.
And pop goes the champagne bottle to a new year to look forward to and an old year put to rest. Can you handle it?
Handle it? This is, if we, by the way, what a delusional attitude for 2025. Oh my God.
If we were radio hosts in, I want to say Nashville, but not quite Nashville. I don't know what town or city would be, but just like,
Columbus?
I like that.
Okay.
Radio hosts in Columbus. Hey guys, it's Attitudes. Wow. An entire year just went by. Did it flash before your eyes?
My goodness. I'd love to talk about all the great things that happened in 2024.
Absolutely. And the exciting new things we have on the horizon for 2025.
I can't think of a bad thing to say.
I was telling my husband, Marky, the other day, how excited I am for all the January traditions and then the February and March and April traditions. It's going to be a great year. I wish, honestly, I had that delusion. I wish I could really believe it.
I look forward to every day? The sun coming up and greeting me. I do a hello to the sun. I do a good night to the moon.
That's right.
And I say, thank you for another day.
That's right. And I look at my kids and I put them in their onesies and their twosies and their threesies, their 4-piece suits, their 5-piece suits. And I smile and we laugh and I make all kinds of different oatmeals and we just love our lives. It's wonderful.
I've taught all of my daughters different kinds of braids for their hair, fish braids.
Wonderful?
Yes, French braids, reverse French braid, double French braid. Yes. Yeah. And we just sit by the fire, turn on the radio, listen to the tales of Teddy Roosevelt and go to town.
Teddy Tales. I love that.
Teddy Tales.
Absolutely. I make my own Dr. Pepper now, which is very exciting.
Oh, how do you do it? I heard it's a proprietary recipe. Oh.
It's easy. You put pickles in Coke.
You really cracked the code.
Thanks. Did you get a break? How was your break?
Yeah, I got a little bit of a break.
I'm glad.
Did hiking and sleeping and I said, this year, no presents. Mickey can have presents because Mickey loves Christmas and he lives in his own incredible wonderland. But we're not doing presents because I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it.
Don't do it. Their presence is your present.
Thank you. Yeah. So I said, you think I'm going to take a tree down? Watch a tree go up and put a tree down? Not this year.
You crazy?
I'm tired. I'm smoking cigarettes and sitting on the couch.
Well, see what I did, because I was out of town really for because I was in New York first and then Italy. I was out of town for 6 or 7 weeks. So when I came back.
Sayonara, USA?
Sayonara, LA, Sayonara, USA. When I came back, there was a gigantic, fully rotten pumpkin on my front porch. Because I had gotten a pump. Really, I didn't get it. My mom, anytime she comes to town near a holiday,
she's got to get you decor.
Do you understand how fucking depressing it is to decorate for a holiday by yourself when you're single? It actually is.
But some people love it. Some people love it.
And I don't even mean single. I mean when you live alone. Some people love it, and God bless them.
Sorry,
I'm not that person. It makes me sad.
Who are the people who live alone who aren't single?
Excuse me. A lot of people are boyfriend, girlfriend, dating.
I see. Okay.
Seeing, whatever.
They're not committed. Yeah.
Going on a hot date at the club and then coming home and watching Gorillas in the Mist alone. I mean, that honestly is my fantasy life.
Wait, so you go to the club, you meet somebody, you don't take them home or get their number, and you just gotta go watching Gorillas in the Mist?
No, I don't tell them. I come home, I order my Neapolitan ice cream.
So they're not here at this point.
I change my socks into knee length. I put on a full pair of pajamas.
Have you ever thought about the sexy version of that called the compression sock? Really just sucks it all in.
I do love a compression. That's great because I've noticed I've been losing some weight right around my knees.
Yeah.
So a compression sock really adds the sort of full figured knee.
Yes.
That I'm legendary for. So it actually helped a lot.
Okay, good. And then what? You do your socks and then you...
I sit in my seat. I eat my Weight Watchers popcorn and I have a blast.
Popcorn's already a diet food.
Can I tell you something?
It's like ATM machine. Go ahead.
No, that was the time.
How do they even make it? What's the audacity to call it diet? Where does it come from?
I don't know.
What do they do to it?
I'll be honest. I've never had Weight Watchers
Low
popcorn,
salt?
But my therapist once told me, she goes, you're not making enough time for yourself. Do what I do. Go home. Sit on your couch. Watch Memoirs of a Geisha.
She did not say that.
She did. Pop your Weight Watchers popcorn. Sit in your seat and have a blast. And what I failed to ask her was, why Weight Watchers? You fucking asshole. But I didn't know.
This person's still practicing, right?
No, she's retired. Retired.
That's probably for the best.
She was also the same therapist who, when I said I was getting a new car, she said, don't talk to me about a car unless it's Lexus, BMW, Jaguar, Range Rover, Mercedes.
And how long did it take for you to disengage from this person?
Oh my God, it must have been 9 years.
Yeah.
Well, by the end, I was going for free. She stopped charging me. She said, honey, don't even worry about it. I just like the company.
Did she live alone?
She didn't.
Did she have a rotten pumpkin? She kind of a rotten pumpkin kind of lady?
No, but she would scream at me from her bedroom because her office was in her home. She would scream at me from her bedroom, honey, I'm just going to be a few minutes late. And I would hear her watching and rewinding The Bachelor.
This is in Brentwood, correct?
I wish this were happening now because I could write off all these appointments.
Was this in Brentwood?
No, it was in Laurel Canyon. And one time there was an active shooter in her yard, but they didn't end up killing anybody or hurting anybody.
Oh, that's good. I can't think of a better person to be an active shooter in the yard for than a therapist.
She called me so calmly.
Was it someone she had made angry?
It might have been a lie because she called me so calmly. She goes, honey, I'm going to have to move today's appointment. There's an active shooter in my yard.
I think it's fake. I do think she's lying to you.
She also told me, and I don't know if this is a lie, she had to move another appointment, called me so calmly, honey, I'm not sure if you heard about the hotel bombings in India, but I'm actually at one of the hotels and they're relocating us. So I'm not going to be home probably for another week. I'm not even kidding.
My friend, I won't say who, I don't think this is proprietary information, but I had a friend who found, either she found it or her kids found it hiking in Malibu, a bunch of files from a therapist.
Oh, stop.
And they figured out whose it was.
What?
And they called her
to the ground. What did she explain herself?
She pretended she didn't know what they were. And they were like, these are people's personal and with their name on it, with their name and like stuff that's wrong with them. And she was like, throw it away.
Honey, you should have shredded that information.
By the way, what a fucking classic story. Oh, I was hiking at Charmley Trail and I found a fucking full file of like a fucking file box full.
That's a boomer for you to be like, what could I possibly do with this trash? Oh, I know. Throw it in nature. Where does trash go? Out the window, right? Yeah. Ridiculous. That's
ridiculous. Amazing. Tell me about Italy.
It was fabulous, Aaron. I already texted Ale, but I used every single last one of his suggestions.
I'm telling you, he knows where to go.
All of which were 10 out of 10. I mean, it was amazing.
He's a nightmare to eat out with in the States. I want you to know this.
Fucking blame him. This is the other thing, and everyone knows this, but like, I don't eat the foods there that I eat here because I think they're fattening. And yet I lost weight when I was there. So what does that make? What does that mean?
Be honest. Was your tum-tum happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I didn't get sick to my stomach. Like Aaron knows I have a lot of like digestive shit. I didn't get sick to my stomach. Nothing. It was crazy.
I know.
And I started drinking. Yeah.
It's the States because when I'm working in Vancouver, I also do not have digestive issues. I got to LA last night. I got to LA last night and I was exhausted. And I said,
from Santa Fe or where were you?
Santa Fe.
Okay.
From my holiday home.
Right.
I got to go to do a conjugal visit with my husband.
That's nice.
So I come in, I go, I'm hungry. I have to go to the grocery store. I don't want to eat anything heavy. I really kind of overdid it a little bit. And during Christmas holidays, we ordered too many tamales. We ate them every day.
Oh, tamales are
They're so good, but yet here I am.
By the way, if you're ever looking for a good tamale place, it's really to eat them to go. There's a place called La Indiana in LA that's sort of, I don't even know the neighborhood, but I got to tell you, they're fucking amazing.
I love tamales. I just don't want to eat them every single day of my life.
No, of course, obviously.
So I came into town. I said, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to hit whatever the store is. Whatever. Animals. What's the new one? Farms, Hills.
Oh, yeah. Not Bristol Farms. What the fuck is it? Lazy Acres.
Lazy Acres.
Yeah.
Which we have to cover on groceries because I
can't believe we haven't.
The clientele there
is wacko.
Whack.
But those cookies, have you ever had one of their fresh baked gigantic cookies?
Huge. Delicious.
Unbelievable.
I go, I'm going to go get sushi. That'll be safe, right? Just go I'm going to have a nice sushi dinner by myself.
Go ahead.
When I tell you I had diarrhea all night from sushi, I'm like, you can't win here. You can't win.
I mean, on the list of safest foods to eat, I'm not sure sushi would be at the top, but in LA, it's a pretty safe bet. I know. No, I agree.
What is give me a shard of lettuce? Like nothing here is safe. Everything makes me sick here.
I have to tell
except for found oyster, which I will just go to because I'm like, I guess I can eat oysters and French fries.
Found is fun. Yeah. Found is fun. There's an oyster place in LA called Found. I got to tell you, Erin, I'm this is for everyone going to Italy. I got so hooked on Coke Zero, you can't even imagine.
Oh, Coke Zero, what Rome is known for.
I had one every single day. I never had Coke Zero. I always had Diet Coke. And one time I was at a restaurant and I really wanted my mouth and throat to burn from sizzle. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a champagne. So I said, do me a favor. Go ahead and bring me your Diet Coke.
So you were like, I'm in Italy, not a Lambrusco. A Diet Coke, please.
I would like a Diet Coke. And they said, we only have Coke Zero. And I thought, what the shit? What do I look like? Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? Or whatever.
And you said that all in Italian.
Of course. So they brought me the Coke Zero. And I have to tell you, if I wasn't giggling the entire time, every time they brought one out, I mean, it was incredible.
Giggling because it was good?
Yeah. I was like a schoolgirl at like school.
Which is where schoolgirls hang out. So you were like, I'm not going to have alcohol. I'm just going to have Coke Zero because I'm in Italy.
No, it wasn't a choice not to have alcohol. I did start drinking like a little more there because then I really don't drink anymore. Really because
because it makes you sick here. Not that I'm trying to be like be an alcoholic.
No, I know. But I started drinking a little bit more there. And I have to say it was lovely. It was really, the whole trip was so nice and great. And like, listen, there are things we do better. There are many things they do better. It just sort of depends on how you want to live on that given day. I can't wait for teleportation to be a thing because I would love to be like,
are you working on it?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it because my goal is to have breakfast in, say, Vienna, lunch in Italy, dinner in Tokyo. That would be great. And yes, I realize I said 2 cities in 1 country, but listen.
What are you going to do? Sue me.
I don't care.
Sue me.
I also had a couple of sweet little visitors while I was there. So Jessica Chaffin was in London. So she met me for a literal 18 hours in Milan. I'm trying to remember if she actually spent the night. I think she may have spent the night. Michelle Collins met me also for 24 hours. And I got it to get, because she was in Amsterdam.
Because she lives there now, right?
She lives there now. Both absolutely whirlwind trips, had so much fun when both of them visited. And Michelle, like, I'm too afraid to go in big designer stores, but Michelle really wanted to go in the Hermes store.
Okay.
Because, you know, like, I don't know if I watched the 60 Minutes episode recently, and one of those segments was on Hermes. And then I don't know if you read this New York Times article about like how luxury goods are basically cheap as shit now, not in price, but in manufacturing. Like a Chanel bag is not what it was.
Right.
But they figure, you know what? We're still going to charge the same amount of money, even though there's this whole expose now of like, they're charging $1,500 for a bag that might used to cost $700, but now probably costs maybe $100. You know what I mean? To make it, with the exception being Hermes. They're the only ones that actually, because they're not owned by LVMH.
Yes.
I guess it's still in the family. I'm sure they're still shitty as fuck, but like, whatever.
Well, actually, no, because like, I'll tell you this. There's a lot of Italian companies that do high-end stuff, not even that they're brand name Hermes, but they're like, of course we pay everybody a living wage.
Right.
Of course we let everyone have a month off for summertime. You want people to be happy when they come to work. It's not like America.
So I guess like everything, part of what this news story was saying is like, if you can get your hands on a Birkin or a Kelly, which are their two signature bags, you could sell it the next day for double the price. It's like the best investment. The problem is it can take a couple years to get one, but you could literally buy one for an insane, disgusting amount of money, $20,000, and that day sell it for 40 or 50.
But why would you do either of those things?
I mean, listen, it would be a quick turnaround for money. I wouldn't do it. I would never. I would spend.
But you have to be $20,000 for a purse.
You think I would ever do that? I'm getting so defensive. I don't want a fucking Birkin. I don't want any of this shit.
Okay.
But I gotta say, if I had $20,000 to drop and knew I could make $50,000 from it 2 hours later, I'd probably do it.
But you said double, and that's not double. That's like
no. I'm pretty sure it is
60. 20 times 2 is 50.
Yeah,
you're right.
Famously.
You're right.
But it was raining the day we went. And so Michelle and I went in and we were like laughing because they gave you an umbrella bag that said Hermes. And we were like, we got one. Like we got it. It's a plastic shitty bag that says Hermes for your umbrella. But we were like, we got a bag.
You don't junk up the place. Yeah.
Right. Of course. So then we go upstairs and she's like, let's actually look. And I want to ask if they have a Birkin or a Kelly. And they don't. They never do at these places. But also no one was waiting on us. And there was this lady like looking at us up and down. And I kind of looked back at her because I was like, you don't think I'm good enough for this place? Like, I see what I'm wearing. I get it.
And you were wearing like gym shorts and
of course, gym shorts, a pea coat, my compression socks. Knee down looks like Muppet Baby's nanny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, wearing a house dress top with the bottom cut off. My panty shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Cropped for her pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, tits out. But this woman was looking at us and I was like, she's not wearing an Hermes uniform. Like, is she a customer? And suddenly I realized she's not looking at me and judging me. She's looking at me because she's eager to tell me something. And I was like, I give. I go, hi. And she goes, hello. And then just stared at us. And Michelle goes, what are you doing? She goes, I'm an actress. We were like, and she's Italian. I'm not going to do an accent, but she was like, I'm an actress. I'm an actress in Italy. And we were like, oh my God, that's amazing. And we go, why are you here right now? And she goes, well, if you pick one of the Christmas trees behind me, depending on what tree you pick, I'll recite a poem for you. We were like, oh,
wait,
okay.
Hold on. There's multiple Christmas trees behind her?
There's two.
Okay.
One is a paper one and one is like a gold embellished one. Now, Michelle picked the paper one. I really don't know why, because I would have absolutely picked the one that looked like if you sold it, it would sell for $100,000. If you bought it, you could buy it for $100,000, then you could sell it for $200,000.
Okay, you're all about the investment, yeah.
Because there's no better. I want everyone to understand there's no better investment in this world than a handbag. And I would never take my financial advice.
Not your 401k, not your Roth IRA.
Why bother? No. So anyway, so she goes, she picked the paper. She goes, oh, amazing. The poem was 3 lines long. She goes, can you imagine the daylight for one more day plus another after that? And then she looked at us and she was like, so stoked. And I go,
did she make it up on the spot?
I couldn't tell. And I go, thank you so much. Thank you. And I go, you're a really good actress. I really think you're going to make it. Because I didn't know what else to say. She was just staring at me and she was like, thank you. Thank you.
But did she work at Hermes?
I don't know. She just was not in an Hermes uniform.
Certainly they wouldn't just put somebody up there to do that to people, right?
I really couldn't tell you. So we did.
The Italians are weird, and they don't forget they invented Commedia dell'arte.
Well,
they're the original clowns,
right?
I don't know if that was part of the deal.
It might have been. And also I was shown then. So basically I went to Milan for like 2 weeks by myself. And then Jess was there for a day. Michelle was there for a day in that. And when I did that, I went to Como. And by the way, it was incredible because no one was there. Like, and
that's shocking.
The only other people we met there were these photographers from National Geographic, because I guess in the winter the light is good, but like it's cold. So like no one's pleasure writing there.
But like that is
it was incredible.
But then all the restaurants are open, right?
Well, in Milan they were. In Como it was more hit or miss, like here and there. And then it was that way everywhere. Even in Venice, like everyone said, get ready, it's Disneyland, it's Disney World. Maybe 10% of what's normally there was there. Like,
did he give you a pizza recommendation for a place in Venice?
No, because I stupidly only asked him about Milan.
Oh, okay.
So all his recommendations were Milan based, and then we went to Murano and Burano. I drove up to the Dolomites, which is like 3 hours north. It was stunning.
Did you? And you handled the toll booth okay?
I did fine. Can you imagine?
No.
Well, they take credit cards.
Yeah, I know. Some of them don't.
Some of them don't. I was armed with cash too.
Okay, good.
And then, but going up to Dolomite, I mean, I was like this windy, icy road. I still managed to do it.
Did you speak Italian at all?
I did. Do you want to hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I took your advice.
You said, scusi?
I said, scusi, no parlo molto bene l'italiano, sono un stupido americano. And they laughed.
They laughed, yeah.
And then what helped me?
Of course. You just unlocked. What Brian said was, I don't speak Italian that well. Mm-hmm. Pardon me, I am a dumb American.
Right. I said it everywhere. And then they would be like, it was as if the pressure was relieved.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I know, because they love the joke.
A, you made the effort, and B, you called yourself out.
Yeah, and they love it because they're going to say it about you anyway. It's basically being like in high school, a new high school. You just move there. And you're like, oh God, I got to diffuse all this. And you're like, hey, look at me. I'm an asshole. And they're like, oh, okay. She gets it. She is an asshole.
And by the way,
that's all you did.
France, you could go 3 fingers deep on your
let me tell you,
day.
You think I don't you think I like going to France?
I used to love it. And I got to say,
another thing coming.
I went to Italy 2 years ago for Christmas, but it had been before that, like 15 years. I got to tell you, France can truly go dry hump a saw. As far as I'm concerned.
What specifically do they do to you?
All sorts of things. I mean, that will be a book I write one day. What France did to me.
Can I write the foreword?
Well,
and the afterword?
I went on a couple dates there last summer, and everyone I wanted to date with would say, like, why can't I like Woody Allen? What's wrong with Roman? I mean, they want to challenge you on it so far. And all you want to say is, bitch, lingua franca isn't French anymore, honey. You lost it. You won't give it up. You lost it. At least in Italy, they're like, you know what I mean? You don't really hear them talking about the glory days of the Roman Empire. It just doesn't work like that.
But also, like, for them to be apologizing for sexual predators when they literally had the biggest
why initiate that conversation?
Sexual predator, like the most disturbing sexual predator,
horrifying
sexual predators, and they're like, but what about? It's like, no.
And also, everyone was like, oh, it's a miracle that happened. And it's like there was video evidence. Why would that be shocking? That all those people were found guilty of that poor woman. Whatever. Anyway, it was a fabulous trip. I thank Ale again and again for those recommendations. I thank you for the expression I use the most. And I got to tell you, it was really, really fabulous.
And when you go to Italy, I don't think it works in other countries, but when you go to Italy, just say you're a stupid American or Canadian or wherever you're from, and they'll fall in love with you. And they'll be like,
they just will.
This one's a good one. We're going to show them where all the good pasta is.
Exactly.
We're going to show you the fucking gnocchi of you're going to nut all over this gnocchi. It's going to be so good.
I had a tour guide in Venice who looked exactly like Liza Minnelli in Arrested Development. Like, exactly.
Was she American?
No, Italian. She was so funny, and she would act out everything for me. She was talking to me about these like curves in Venice that have been filled in. Because back in the day, it used to be for people to hide and like try to rob you, but now you can't really hide. And so she would do the demonstration of what it used to be like when somebody robbed you. Like in front of me. She'd be like, they would hide like this, and she'd run in front of me, not as a joke, and enact this entire situation.
The energy to do that.
She was fabulous.
Oh, wait. Do you want to hear? It's okay. Based on that story. Mm-hmm. So.
My Coke Zero story?
Yeah.
Oh, or the Liza. Yeah.
I did I went to this journaling group, Santa Fe, and to journal about like last year and this year. And then I got to talking to people, and of course aliens came up because Santa Fe, but everyone was talking about the drones in New Jersey. And I said,
by the way, someone, please go ahead and then I'll tell you what
No, you tell me.
No, go ahead, please.
Well, I was just so I basically was like, hey, I heard this story once from a person here that they were doing body work on somebody, and then they got freaked out because they were like, oh, you have alien DNA. And I said it like, isn't that crazy? And everyone was like, yeah, no, that happens. And then someone said that people sometimes with too much energy have too much energy because they're spliced with alien DNA. And they have like, so they're like internally, like they have this energy source that they can't identify. And it's because they're a hybrid. And I was like, I would listen to this for 75 hours.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
I don't care. I don't believe it. I love it. I love it.
I got to tell you, did you know, by the way, after Demi Moore's win at the Golden Globes, which was exciting, I found out she was born in Roswell. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know she was in New Mexico. Everyone talks. When you're from New Mexico, people let you know.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. Good for all those winners.
By the way, including Nikki Glaser, I sent her a DM today, just being like, you were fantastic. I thought she hit it out of the park, really.
She's going to be back. She did such a good job.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Listen, would you like to hear what's happening on Dateline today?
I would love it.
Twisters, thunderstorms.
Ooh.
Heading toward Austin, Texas.
Oh.
Featuring a young Kathy Bates. IBM recruiting, which, by the way, they constantly talk about this woman that she was the life of the party and lived life with gusto, and then say, which was perfect for being an IBM recruiter. I'm like, I guess.
What?
I mean, she could have also been an actress, a clown, a public speaker.
Yeah.
An improviser.
A curve hiding robber.
Correct. Exactly. Also, a lot of hair jewelry in this, like an earring just like in your hair, which I'd never seen.
Like
before.
you had like taken a nap and it's in there?
No. Like someone had a hoop earring in their hair.
I'm very much looking forward to this.
You'll love it. And by the way, also the Vault episode, Aaron, really sad. Read it. Read what's on the Vault episode.
Is it Michael Jackson died?
No, it says everyone forgot Aaron's birthday. That's so sad. That's so sad.
But you know what? It's a trend on this show. I'd like to apologize
again. I'd like to apologize again for missing your birthday that year. I feel horrible about it still.
Oh, you've done it again. You've done it several times.
Absolutely not. Have I really?
Yeah. Listen to the tapes.
Fuck. Sergio, from now on.
Yours is in my calendar.
That's the problem.
Okay, Aaron, can I say something? Because here's the thing. Everyone in LA has ADHD. Every single person.
No, don't blame it on LA. You can blame it on me.
No, I'm saying everyone has ADHD. But I am the only person with coping mechanisms. I'm the only one person who's like, I know I have ADHD. I cannot remember his birthday. I put it in my calendar. Every year, my robot says it's Brian's birthday.
But can I tell you something?
I don't do it.
Look, I think I've done it the past few years consistently, haven't I?
We have absolutely records where you forgot my birthday. If you think this is, by the way, this is the
I'm not going to defend myself. I'm not going to defend myself. Well, at least, you know what? I'm not going to defend myself. I'm not.
Brian, you can't respond to, yeah. Sergio said the only reason I keep Facebook is to remind me of people's birthday. But you know what, Sergio?
Well,
you could be
both
off,
of you.
You could be off Facebook if you just kept a calendar with people's birthdays in it.
Honestly. Also, it's the same Vault episode where my parents stay at my place and notice my wall stains, which I came over
to your apartment and cleaned off one day.
Why are you friends with me? I miss your birthday. You see cum on my walls. Like, why?
I clean it right off.
Why do you have anything to do with me at this point? We also have We're Shoe, and this week we're going to go over the looks from the Golden Globes red carpet. But I hate to
have some favorites.
Everyone. Oh, do you? Everyone looked. I thought amazing. I'm excited to see what Sergio
I'm
pulls.
very excited for this new trend in men's fashion where they take chances. I'm excited for that.
Me too. I am too. It is exciting. It makes me actually want to like dress up for a red carpet look.
Yes.
And finally, you can get the first act of our video episodes every week for free when you go to YouTube. You can find us by searching Attitudes Pod. In the meantime, we're so happy to be back on the free feed, and go to patreon.com/attitudes for everything else. If you didn't catch up, by the way, over the break, we had brand new episodes there every week, so you can catch up.
But you also had, for those of you who have yet to join Patreon, you got a sample of what we're doing on
That's
there.
absolutely correct.
So
absolutely correct. And I got to tell you, yeah, Jackadon's waiting. You know, you want to get in some shoes?
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, I got to say, I don't know how Christmas Eve was for you. Maybe you took some stuff off your plate this year. Maybe tried to set your expectations lower. No. What?
You know what I keep saying? I keep saying, I don't want to level up. I want to level off.
I like that.
I really just want to level off.
I don't want to level down. I want to level off.
Level off. Level off. Level off.
Level off.
Level off.
Level off. Level off. Level off. Level off. Sierra, I hope you're listening. Well, on December 24th of 2024, this past Christmas Eve, I was busy trying to convince my concierge to call a restaurant I wanted to eat at. To my concierge, by the way, the hotel's concierge. Okay, let's be honest. I was trying to convince my personal concierge to make a hotel reservation for me, and they wouldn't do it, so I had to walk to the restaurant myself to do it. And I
Why wouldn't they do it?
They were like, oh, they'll never take a reservation this late. And I was like, could you call and ask? They'll
This is in
never do
Italy?
it this late. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And so I walked over there, 25-minute walk, which I'm not complaining, but you know, I am. I'll never get that. I'll never get those 25 minutes of walking through the Venice canals back. You understand?
Beautiful, stunning history.
And for that, I'm forever ungrateful. But anyway, on December 24th of 2024, President Biden signed the National Defense Authorization Act, which they do every year. This was for fiscal year 2025, so it's for the upcoming year, which included a provision in this National Defense Authorization Act, which, by the way, is designed for the military. Do you understand? Like, that's what you would think a National Defense Authorization Act and signing that into law would be about funding the military, anything related to
doing
sort
the
of
thing
defense.
we do best.
Right. Defense is in the name of the law. What I don't appreciate at the end of his administration is a few things, actually. One of the things I really don't appreciate is signing something into law after it has gone through Congress. And obviously he's not the one to blame for this, but he's one of the ones to blame for this. On December 24th, when you know it is so shitty, and the reason you're doing it on Christmas Eve is because no one's fucking checking the news December 25th to see what happened. Nobody. It's not going to happen. So the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2025 included in all of this military defense authorization language a provision inserted at the last second by House Speaker Mike Johnson, who's barely hanging onto that job. And this provision blocks health care for the trans children of military service members. These people who give every part of their lives for
their
this country
bodies
and their bodies now lay everything on the line, now have to worry about their trans children and the access to healthcare that they are now going to be denied. Why we would deny anything in the healthcare realm to military service members is appalling, disgusting, lowest common denominator. And the fact that you would try to make a back alley bullshit way to put in legislation against trans children, because that's going to be the thrust of immigration and trans and being anti-trans are going to be the thrust of this Republican House, or getting legislation about those things. And I'll get to that in a minute. But those are at the front of what they're going to try to legislate when, you know, the new term begins. The fact that you would do this not only is such a pun intended, disservice to military families. It also, historically now, is the first anti-queer federal law enacted since the Defense of Marriage Act in 1996. And again, this was not defeating the Defense of Marriage Act. This was putting in the Defense of Marriage Act, saying that marriage was only between a man and a woman. So not only is this the first anti-queer federal law since the 90s, and it will also rip medically necessary care from trans children of thousands of military families who make obvious sacrifices every minute of their lives.
Also, and probably, most likely, knowing their salaries, cannot afford to pay for this stuff out of pocket.
Of course not. It also is the first anti-LGBTQ plus federal law that explicitly targets military service members. Can you guess what the last one was?
Oh, don't ask,
don't tell. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Which was in Bill Clinton's first administration in 1994. I got to be honest with you. I get that there is a rush job to get shit signed. And I get the idea that there is more good in a bill possibly than bad in a bill. What I don't get,
this bad is so bad.
So bad. And what I don't get is that when someone sounded the alarm on this, and that was Senator Tammy Baldwin, who said, this is wrong. Why are we legislating healthcare and determining what telling military service members what's appropriate for their families and what isn't? Shouldn't we leave that up to them?
And weaponizing healthcare.
Exactly. Don't they have the ability to know what's best for their families when they're sacrificing themselves for their family and for their country? Like, why are we doing this? So not only did she try to raise a separate provision about this that would have removed this section, not only was that shot down, by the way, by Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, it was also shot down by 81 other Democrats who voted it into favor that this law go through. And I get that we can't have a perfect piece of pie every single time. And I'm sure this has worked the other way around before. It probably has. Where like, there's some shitty bill that the Democrats were like, okay, we'll pass it, but we're putting this thing through and you can't stop us. And this is going to be it. The thing I don't understand is, why is this allowed at all? Legislating trans healthcare for military service members for their children has absolutely nothing to do with national defense. Nothing. And as the HRC put it, which I thought was a really elegant quote, military families lay everything on the line for our country. They uproot and move at a moment's notice, make immense personal sacrifices, and often risk their lives in defense of our freedoms. In turn, that sacrifice has been met with disrespect and the use of their children as a political bargaining chip. For them, this law is not about politics. It's about losing the freedom to make their own healthcare decisions. Congress and the White House have failed military families. This country's first anti-queer federal law in almost 30 years disgraces those who have sacrificed so much. We continue to support, trust, and fight for all military families. And despite President Biden's repeated promises to veto legislation that would enshrine any discrimination against trans people, this was signed into law, which I think is horrifying. Because, by the way, listen, I'm not an expert on legislation, and this document was 361 pages long. I even tried to scroll through it and was totally lost. I mean, there are experts who can comb through this. But I do have to wonder, like, one thing I think that we're always going to make sure we have funding for is the military. I don't think that the United States, I mean, doesn't like 75% of the budget annually go to defense? And
yeah, it's like our number one industry.
So I feel like this provision could have been really seriously taken out, and Tammy Baldwin, more people could have supported her, including Chuck Schumer. And at the end of the day, this all still would have gone through. Do you know what I mean? Like the Republicans were still, they had to pass this. That's the other thing. Can you imagine the heat that a Republican-led House would get for not passing a defense bill?
But they don't even care about the military. Like they don't, like
no,
Republicans don't care about,
no. They don't care about anybody but themselves.
They care about the money. That's it.
It's so true. And I think like what is especially
money and power, because
that's it. And now blatantly, I mean, when you look at the inauguration money that's going into Trump's inauguration from Facebook, from Google, from Apple, including CEO Tim Cook, who I think put in like $1 million for the inauguration fund for Trump. And part of me is like, I get that you think you're playing smart because they were such foes to Trump in the first administration, that I think what I've read is that some of them are legitimately worried that we are, with the brain drain coming for immigration, with the fact that we are losing to China when it comes to supporting education and really being the leader in STEM, that I think allegedly some of these people have thought like, we can't lose being number one, so we just have to work with this guy. I don't give a fuck. Why the fuck do you have to add to his inauguration fund? Can't you just have a meeting with the guy to ensure this shit?
It's disgusting.
Oh, it's awful.
And Disney was one too, right?
Yes. No, all those people are adding to that inauguration fund. So earlier this week, by the way, Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives, this was after the defense thing was signed, this was just this week, released their new rules package. Honey, I don't know if you've heard of a really famous comedian named Bill Maher. He does new rules. So this, to me, I was laughing through the entire segment of this. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Because the House has a new rules package. And it essentially, the new rules are like their top priorities and allows legislation to get fast-tracked depending on what it is. And the first thing listed of the 11 things they want to fast track is anti-trans legislation. One of several bills that's going to be considered and debated within the House during the upcoming session that will be voted on as read, meaning no amendments are allowed. That's another thing that I'm like, who picks what can't have an amendment, what can't get blowback? Like, what the fuck is this process?
Also cowardly to be like, we're doing this and no one can say anything about it. And it's like, completely. Well, if you think you're doing the right thing, why don't you want to hear from other people?
Exactly. How's that democratic? So there are 12 bills in total that are like going right to this new rules program and are being sort of prioritized by the Republican House. So it's that legislation along with aiming to expand what qualifies as an immigrant for deportation, along with another one that would attack doctors who fail to provide, quote, the proper degree of care for fetuses that survive an abortion. Which is something.
These are all false. This is all false science.
All made up problems, all bullshit, ridiculous. So House Republicans are ready to attack trans people. They are ready to attack doctors and certainly people who are pregnant who try to have an abortion. I mean, it's all set to go. It's really, really disgusting. And meanwhile, you have Sarah McBride, who is the first trans person in the U.S. House of Representatives. After, by the way, she's already been banned from using the bathroom at the Capitol, which is something Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina demanded to the rules package to restrict transgender women from using women's facilities at the Capitol. So Sarah McBride is already using the bathroom in her own office when she has to go to the bathroom instead of using one at the Capitol, which is horrifying and disgusting. All love to Sarah McBride. But like, obviously, listen, the year's not off to a great start. We know it's not going to be. I've literally buried my head in the sand until Biden signed this thing because I thought like, well, so who's up there for us? It's not Chuck Schumer, for sure. It's not Biden at the end of the day. And it's not 81 other Congress people who voted for this to pass. So who's doing it for us? Sarah McBride, I think, might be one of the only ones.
Tammy Baldwin can't do it on her own. And Tammy
Baldwin, obviously. Anyway. Again, I just want to wish you all Happy New Year's wishes and
go out and kiss a butterfly.
Go out and kiss a butterfly. And if you're in my calendars, try the pecan pie. It's my absolute favorite. My family goes absolutely crazy for it every year.
Try it with a dollop of vanilla and see if it doesn't blow your socks off.
Absolutely.
I know I'm going to sound old when I say this, but I hate TikTok. I actually hate it. Like, and I also feel like I'm on the wrong side of the aisle when I say it, but
no, I have to tell you, I've never downloaded it because I'm almost the opposite where I know I would get obsessed. I can't even download it. I know they designed
for I literally saw a guy at a restaurant.
China, do you know that kids are restricted to use it 30 minutes a day? That's it. They're having the last laugh.
Yeah, they are. Oh, and I'm going to talk about the last laugh they're having. But like, I saw a guy who was reading a book about the attention economy And this motherfucker, I saw him read half a page and then pick up his phone. And I was like, I don't understand why you're reading this book, sir. You can't do it.
Wild.
So, I mean, anybody, like my mental health takes a nosedive when I'm on this shit. Even Instagram, I'm like, I gotta have it off my phone. And if I lived in Australia where they just banned social media for anyone under 16, catch my ass in pigtails with fake freckles, sucking on a lollipop saying, take my phone, please take it away.
Aaron, I don't know if you've heard of a movie called The Substance, but Demi Moore won Best Actress last night. And she had this great quote in her speech where she said that, you always feel like you're not enough, that is definitely a human feeling, a woman especially. She said that you were always feeling like that. And she goes, and someone once told me that feeling, you might always feel like you're not enough, but the least you can do is put down the measuring stick. In other words, comparing yourself to other people, comparing yourself to expectations. And
she had a crazy mom.
She must have.
No, she did. No, she had. You should read her autobiography.
I actually
biography.
I heard her interviewed about her autobiography, and I was like, "Wow, this must be so good." Like the interviews were amazing. So
yeah, I think she survived some crazy ass shit in Roswell, and I'm not talking about abductions. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't have spliced DNA. I'm not an expert.
We don't know for sure though. We don't know for sure, but I'll say no for now. I'll say no for now.
Yeah,
my public answer is no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so also out of Australia, please prepare yourself for the best named article of all time.
I can't wait.
It's called, quote, "You started working out to get a flat stomach and a fat ass. A content analysis of Fitspiration videos on TikTok."
Wow.
By the way, ass is spelled with $2 which I also appreciate. This is a scientific article written by Samantha, I think it's Pride, Pryde, Eva Kemps, and Ivanka Pritchard. And
remember cartoons when someone would push in the stomach and then the butt would get bigger?
Yes.
It's like that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
The article is published in Body Image Journal out of Australia. And they're saying, the point of the article is like, hey, while we're banning social media for teens, why don't we look at some aspects of social media that blow donkey dick for adults?
All right.
In the Fitspiration world.
Good
like,
idea.
Just because you have a mortgage or a car payment, or the difference between a Pinot Noir and a Lambrusco, doesn't mean that you're not affected by the fucking negative shit happening on social media.
You're probably even more affected by it because maybe you don't have the wherewithal to know, like, oh, this person is saying I should do this because they're sponsored by this.
I saw a 12-ish-year-old at the airport coming back.
I'm scared.
This person's spine from being on the phone. I was gutted to see this little girl.
Oh God.
Like turned in on herself.
That's how it is now.
I know.
And it makes you look old. I'm not talking about this 12-year-old girl, but like it makes you look
It's blue light in your fucking face all the time.
I know. Listen, takes one to know one. Like I my body essentially right now is a bass clef. That's truly what I look like. Just full hunch.
You got to go the other
Margaret
way.
Qualley out of my back.
You got to go the other way.
I know.
So Fitspiration, if you're unfamiliar, is where hot people with trust funds tell you how to work out using shitty information they learned leading easy lives.
Right.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're really hot people with time. Okay.
It's genetics for them, I think.
Yes. The researchers are all out of Flinders University, which I don't know is a silly name. I love it.
Flinda? It's perfect.
Flinders?
Flinders.
Yeah. But it's not silly.
My son Flinders and my daughter Flinda. Beautiful.
Our last name's Flam.
Flam. This is Flinders Flam and this is Flinda Flam. We're happy. Trust me.
How could you not be happy with names like that?
I agree.
Oh, we love to go outside and touch puppies and look at the clouds and
eat flapjacks. Just great.
I love to make the butter out into the shape of a heart, put it on my children's pancakes so they know I love them.
Oh, isn't that nice? I love it. I love waking up 4 hours early to make my children happy.
I wake up at 3 a.m. to make homemade granola for my children because they deserve it. Okay. And of course, I've whittled my own spoon.
Yeah. Last night, I made my husband a custom bespoke suit. It was great.
Well, I would love to do something like that, but I'm growing old growth forest. So I'm growing older trees so I can cut them down and make bespoke firewood for my family.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Bespoke firewood. Nothing.
Yeah. Like so, the person upstairs is vacuuming now. So this is going to be good.
Okay.
I live in a basement.
I know you do.
Okay. So
a stranger in your own home.
I know. Look at this. Okay. So it's a tale as old as time, reinforcing harmful gendered body ideals and spreading incorrect and harmful information and body shaming and promoting disordered eating. That's what all these videos are doing. Okay. The researchers said that 60% of the videos they looked at had fucking totally wrong info, absolutely scientifically inaccurate. And I guess because Cynthia McElbee, who worked at Smoothie King for 6 months and always had 2% body fat, doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about.
Right.
Okay. So she could put some smoothies together. That's on a fucking list. Doesn't make her an expert. Mm-mm. And you know what else doesn't make you an expert? Just watching some random videos on the internet and then thinking you know everything. I'm done with that trend. And I know I sound like an old man right now.
My mother was a model. And this was her secret back in the day. All you have to do is, and then they like give you advice that's like so psycho. Like,
but you know what it is?
And they're lying.
It's also a different form of privilege.
Of course.
And they're peddling privilege.
Completely.
I dislike it so much. One of the researchers, the lead author, Samantha Pride, said this, and it is a read. Okay. She said, our study highlights concerns about the triggering and misleading information portrayed by unqualified influencers.
Boom.
And that we need far greater scrutiny of the TikTok fitness community. Unqualified influencers. Now, I personally think that's redundant, but I like that she spelled it out because influencers just means you have persuasion.
Right. I mean, it's, you know who else is an influencer? Maybe. Like every snake oil salesman. Like that's what they do. That's how they're successful.
If you are seeking fame on the internet, vis-a-vis being an influencer, I want you to know that it is a prison of your own design. Money will not make you happy and you will be very lonely. It will be and because, do you know how I know that? Because it's the same thing as fame.
You know what else is so crazy is these influencers actually do, I believe, work hard at this.
You can't not because you have to feed the machine.
I know. And by the way, they never will do anything else because they make a ton of money off it. But if you took that drive and I don't know, went to NASA, who knows what you could come up with, honey?
Anything. What if you rescued some dogs or I don't know,
do you know how hard it is to have a
kids?
Business sense in this world? You've got it. Do something else.
I get that you can make tons of money, but like, I don't buy that these people, listen.
It's not feel good money though. I mean, it wouldn't be for me.
Everybody I know who's hit it big and rich.
Sure.
Of which I know probably 3 people. These motherfuckers aren't smart with their money.
Yeah. I mean, they don't buy Birkins and resell them that day.
No, they're not doing that. They're keeping the Birkins.
That's right. See?
You know what I mean?
That's right.
This will not be surprising. They found these videos cause negative body image issues in young women. They promote the thin body type, meaning not strong, thinness being the driver, not strong, not healthy, thin. And also most of these people doing the videos, or who are being targeted by the videos are women with focus on the thighs and ass. Mm. Okay. They did study male videos that were men who were doing Fitspiration, but they were all basically like, here's how you get muscular and lean.
Right. Building. Yeah.
Yeah. Which also is its own thing, obviously, but like getting shredded, but it's not like
reinvent your body.
Don't eat and then do these squats. Yeah. By the way, as I was writing this last night, the New York Times sent an article out that said, is protein powder a scam? And it starts off by saying, On TikTok, influencers tout protein powder as key to building muscle and nourishing their bodies, all in a quick, convenient scoop added to coffee or a smoothie. And guess what the answer is to whether or not protein powder is a scam?
I mean, I'm hoping it's not because I drink it.
Unless you're breastfeeding or you're over 75, you don't fucking need it.
Great.
I'm going to tell you something. 20 grams of protein powder is equal to half a cup of diced chicken. That's it.
Not very much.
If you eat half a cup of diced chicken, you have had your protein shake. 2 cups of brown rice and beans, 3/4 of a cup of non-fat Greek yogurt with an ounce of walnuts, 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. These are lies. And by the way, propagated by the fucking internet that doesn't know what the fuck it's talking about.
Well, but no, I'm going to choose not to believe that.
There you go. You know what? No wonder you're addicted to TikTok.
I love
Instagram.
There was a New York. Oh, did you read any of the comments? I got to say, I'm really into reading all the comments in New York Times lately. I mean, I used to be, but I got back into it. There was one about like the New York Times did an article about like, if you have a fitness resolution, read this or whatever. And it was essentially saying like, don't listen to anyone except your own body or a nutritionist or someone you're working with who knows your body. But like essentially also saying, don't look to an influencer, don't but don't listen to a friend. Like really, if you're trying to up your fitness goals, find something you love to do that you're going to keep doing, whether that's walking, whether that's whatever, and also talk to a nutritionist if you want. But like, don't listen to anybody. And every single comment was like, I'll tell you how I did it. And it's like, no, you're doing the exact thing this article told you not to.
Listen,
every single one was like, I put my shoes on in the morning. I go outside and I run as fast as I can before I can even think about it. That's helped me through the years. I would do it. And it's like, oh my God.
I'll tell you, the loneliness epidemic that's how it's coming out.
For sure.
You're not even reading the thing. You're just talking.
No,
you're just talking about
just talking.
Listen, I want to find the main server if there's no such thing exists, but I'd like to find the main server and I want to throw a Molotov cocktail in it. That's what I want for 2025.
Sure. Yeah.
I want to know when the internet is going to be such a cum dumpster that no one will go on it. Please. I want this like event horizon of there just being so much. It's like literally in the 90s when you started getting pop-up ads when you would open your browser. That's what I want the internet to be. So nobody goes on it. Mm-hmm. And then everyone can come be with me and we can be lupini bean farmers and get some rescue donkeys.
So I'm going to stick with the internet.
Look at the aliens when they come down to help us. Right. That's what I'm here for. Anyway, that's just me. And I'd love to say, you know, if you're at your local farmer and they happen to have wheat, you know, just grab a nice handful and, you know, you can grind it in your coffee grinder and then you've got everything you need to make bread.
Oh, I love that. I make bread all day. It's so easy for me. It only takes about 14 hours for a loaf.
And of course, when you bake bread, what do you want to do? You want to bake it again.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love my life. Well, Erin,
we did it.
We've got it in spades. By the way, I saw a really good movie yesterday.
What was it?
The Brutalist. I think it won Best Picture.
Oh yeah, it did.
It was great.
I have two recommended movies. Mm-hmm. The Brutalist is about what again?
So it's right after World War II. And
is it about the architecture?
Yes, exactly. It is. And I got to say, even though Quentin Tarantino owns it, this Vista Theater, it was shot in 70 millimeter and they're showing it in 70 millimeter.
Oh,
and they have new rules at this theater, which is like, you talk, you're out. Your phone's on, you're out. Like nothing flies.
Yes.
Out. So, and there was an intermission because the movie's kind of long, but I got to say, the whole experience was really nice.
Okay, I'll go do that.
And they played a Bugs Bunny cartoon at the beginning.
I love that.
It was great.
Just like old movies.
Exactly. But it's a beautiful movie and a beautiful story and really well acted. And by the way, visually incredible. You would love it. It made me think of you.
I love brutalism.
Yeah.
To a degree.
No, this stuff was it was just incredible.
Okay. Because like Caprini Green and some of these like industrial, like these brutalist buildings were like built for socialism, but done in a way that was kind of cold. They don't talk about that.
But it's sort of interesting. They talk about like how a lot of these designers at the buildings in America were immigrants, themselves. And some were even survivors from camps and stuff. And it was really so personal for them. Even the way they designed the corridors, even it's like, it was unbelievable, actually.
Okay.
Like, really eye-opening.
And I don't know how much Quentin Tarantino wrote it?
No, he had nothing to do with it. He's just showing it at
okay.
It's just at that theater. No,
the one on Beverly, the new Beverly.
No, it's the one
the Vista.
Silver Lake, the Vista. It's in like Los Feliz, Silver Lake.
I know what you're talking about on Sunset.
Yeah, you're right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll definitely go see it. I saw The Perfect Day, which is Wim Wenders' movie about a man, very quiet man, who cleans toilets in Japan.
Oh my, I hear this is amazing.
It's so good.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
It's so good. And then left turn, I watched the Yacht Rock documentary, which I did not want to watch. And my friend was like, please watch it.
What's it called? Do you remember?
I think it's just called Yacht Rock. It's on like,
I haven't seen it either.
I enjoyed it so much that I have been listening to Toto for the last 2 weeks. That's how much I've loved
love Toto. Well, the one time I went to a Yacht Rock party and the band was called Yachty by Nature. That was a lot.
Were they good?
No, but at the same party, I mean, they were fine, but at the same party, an older lady was talking to her shitty older husband. They were probably in their 70s. And she looked at him and this is all I heard her say. She looked at him and she goes, "You think Little Women is the worst book ever written?"
By the way, that tracks for Yacht Rock. So Yacht Rock is a made up term and it's been applied after the fact. So if you talk to these musicians, like they didn't love the label at first, but Michael McDonald and like Toto. Some of the guys from Toto and Kenny
nice
Loggins.
And easy. It's true. It's sexy too, actually.
Also Chris Christopherson. And you're like, but they break it down. I'm not spoiling anything, but you're like, at first I was like, no. But then it's like these sensitive men talking about love over and over and over again, talking about losing love, wanting love, having love.
The songs are nice. I'll be honest.
They're really fucking, I mean, Africa is problematic as shit.
Right.
But
including their pronunciation of Kilimanjaro.
They rhyme it in a way that doesn't work.
It's so weird.
But they're all jazz musicians. They're using jazz to put it into rock. And if you love drums and percussion and like just interesting
George Michael
levels,
did a little bit of that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's not Yacht Rock.
No.
But like people who really love music, who love the mixing things up, showing what they've got. I mean, it was so inspirational. I can't even tell you how inspired I was.
Oh my God.
I'll
definitely watch it.
And it's easy. It's easy. And again,
that's nice.
When in 2025, you're going to need a little something to check out. And this is going to be it.
That's right.
This is going to be it. We got some reviews.
Yes, we did on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. It helps the show tremendously. So just going to patreon.com/attitudes, but this does too. Should we read some of these?
Sam I Am 5 says, to whom it may concern. 5 stars. Wondering when the podcast name will be changed to Do You Understand?
Thanks, Bevet and Beverly. Do you understand? Best Bible class, 5 stars from T. Wood. Rich, anyone rich? Me, with laughter since the before 4 times of 2015, when my husband introduced me to throwing shade. You've been a delight ever since. Groceries, Columbo, and Dateline have been my lifeline the last couple of months when I need to take a break from reality. Thank you for being my consistency during these consistently unprecedented times.
Hey, we're going to keep doing it. Absolutely. We're going to keep doing it, period.
Sabrina, Arizona says obscure references abound, 5 stars. Think you and your sister are the only weirdos that remember Watcher in the Woods? Think again. Brian will surprise and delight you because, girl, not only did he see it, he remembers more than you do. Brian and Aaron, thank you for sharing your laugh. Much love from a state you love to hate. Ooh,
now listen, guess which state I love to hate? All of them. There's problems with all of them.
No doubt.
I do think people hopefully will appreciate the fact that
Aaron out of the Biltmore in Arizona. She loves Arizona parts of it.
I will listen. I know they used to have a bed bug problem. I'm fine.
She's good.
I'm fine, man.
She's chill.
Crayon Schaefer says the strength I needed to get through this. I wish B. Arthur and Lucille Ball were alive for this podcast. I dream of you four at a dinner for brunch. I do too, because you know what I like to do in a foursome? Not say a goddamn thing.
I was about to say, we wouldn't get a word in, and it's A-okay with me.
But I would be in for Crayon Shaver's suggestion of smoking non-filtered menthol cigarettes, slinging insults at each other, all while solving America's problems. A girl can dream.
Birjon, says Aaron and Brian with a Y. Thank you. Nobody does
both
it better.
an I and a Y.
Bryn. I like it. Instantly in my top 5 must listen list. Hilarious, insightful, and honest. Tons of good stuff while we wait for the next Tiffany Trump motivational session.
Yeah, where's she
there for her.
been?
Honey, I don't know. She's got to make an appearance.
Somehow.
Do you remember when she shook her dad's hand and basically introduced herself the last time she saw him?
And he was like, yeah, I know you.
Yeah, I think I remember you.
Yeah, you're
the
somebody
one
I
from
know.
the GLQBT Association. Gosh, she's so
Those
fabulous.
talk about other cowards, those children.
I hope she sings At Last by Etta James at the inauguration. You know, wouldn't she just be perfect at that?
Yeah, no skills, but ready to hear her
Actually,
shine.
I feel like she would sing Party in the USA.
Yeah. Do you think Melania is just going to be like in a shrouded, like a black shroud?
She'll be the Shroud of Turin, honey. She'll be mystical. She'll
That book cover.
It's so like, it looks like Sex by Madonna. Like, it's so silly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a joke.
It is a joke. It's all a joke, but we're losing. It's a joke, but the joke's on us.
Oh, no, the joke is all the way on us.
All the way on us.
Oh, of course.
Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/attitudes. Brian's doing a Dateline, as he mentioned, earrings in the hair.
Her book really looks like CK1.
I know.
It's like that era.
Yeah. But honestly, it's like that quiet wealth or whatever, stealth wealth look.
But sort of.
It doesn't work
very
anymore.
Drakkar Noir. I don't know. Like, it's so ugly, that book.
I hate all of it.
Ugh.
Patreon.com/attitudes for Brian's Dateline this week.
For Wilbur Shoe, for The Vault, all of it.
In the meantime, we got to figure out something for 2025.
I know.
We'll figure it out.
Take my dick up with your manager. That's not it. I'll think of a new one.
But it's close. But it's really close.
It's so close.
It's so close.
Yeah.